Hello and welcome to Talkin Tuesdays, the original person behind the pit. It's nice to see you all here. The two that are in here, but hopefully we could share this live, get some people in here. I didn't do a lot of advertising or like the consistent like I usually do, but hey, what's up? Barbecue by Johnsy. Is it Jonesy or Johnsy? Let me know if I'm saying that right or wrong. What's up, Chops? Eat with me, XYZ. But yeah, please go ahead and share this live. But yeah, today is going to be the BBQ Advice Edition. With that said, it's not a way of saying this is how you're supposed to do it. This is how I do it, or some of my special guests, this is how we do it. And I might have a surprise guest or two who might ask a few questions. Okay. John Z. Okay, good. All right. So again, without further ado, here is my first guest, Mr. Higher
How's it
Grilling
going?
Barbecue.
Yes, sir.
So go ahead and introduce yourself to anybody who doesn't know, anybody that's going to watch this in the future. Let us know who you are real quick.
Sure. Yeah, my name's Ryan. Go by Higher Grilling Barbecue. We've been doing this for about 3 years. Let's say 19, 20, 21. Yeah, about 3 years. So we started in 19 as a barbecue competition team, and we sucked a lot. And so we just kept going with it.
Right.
And so we've learned a lot across the last 3 years, and we just keep going at it. And now we're hitting comps and doing good at them, and learning every day. So
Heck yeah. And that's the kind of stuff I really want to talk about. Like I said, it's not necessarily just advice. It's just kind of like it's hard to call it that, but people relate to that word, advice, because
yeah,
when they have questions. But we all have questions. Like, we continue to learn,
yep,
like you said, like every single day, like, ooh, this didn't work, or this worked last time, but why didn't it work this time? Oh, because I did this, or whatever
yeah,
it is. So
right,
dude, I'm glad you said that. It's very nice to meet you on the YouTube here.
yes,
Let's
thank you,
go
sir.
ahead. All right, let's go ahead and get our next special guest in, Mr.
Hey,
Cheeringer.
what's up, guys?
What's up, dude? So go ahead. Ryan introduced himself. Why don't you just say a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Joe. I'm from Cherry Anchor Barbecue out of Stockton, California. And I was originally a backyard guy that converted to competition a year ago. And I've been hooked ever since. And I'm always trying to learn and give advice if I can. And
Heck
should be a
yeah.
good night.
Well, see, and and to further on the advice thing, it's like we all want advice, so it's like we want to be able to give it too, because we're like, oh my gosh, like we know how bad we want to ask these questions, or whatever it is. Oftentimes, I mean, I'm sad to say, actually, I wish there were a lot more women in barbecue, but it's the typical guy thing that, oh, I'm not gonna ask. I don't I'll feel stupid, or this guy's gonna think I'm an idiot, or
Yeah.
whatever it is, or they won't tell me. It's just it's like a pride thing, and I
Hmm.
feel that it's that typical, blah blah blah. So why don't we jump into this real quick, and we are going to answer this first question. You two, both of you. No, and that's what I'm saying. You're not chump change. Eat with me, XYZ. I wish there were a lot more like you. And you kill the game, like
Hmm.
beyond,
Yeah, she
like,
does.
no joke. Like, your content is fantastic, and you could throw it down with the best of them. So don't
Absolutely.
ever get that wrong. What I'm saying is I wish there were more. Um, not. But anyways, let's get to this question real quick, and then we'll kind of have some kind of conversation. So, All right. Why don't we start with you, Ryan? Where do you guys find info about comps? So we're all three of us are actually from Northern California. You're from Southern, right, Ryan?
Yeah. Yep.
So okay, so start with you, Southern California. What what do you do, man? How do you find these comps?
Yep. So lately we've been into the SCA, the State Cook-Off Association comps. We started out doing like the backyard, local Facebook groups are a great way to get in and connect with your local barbecue community and see what they've got going on around there. And if they don't have anything going on, or you want to try your hand at something different, then I go to the State Cook-Off Association. They tell you every month, every weekend, there's like an event going on. So I'm sure there's one around you somewhere. And then you've got, if you want the KCBS and the California Barbecue Association, those are all good places to look for all that stuff too. But I would say start with Facebook and just type in barbecue, or, we have like Kern County Pit Masters is our Facebook group that handles
There
all
you
of
go.
our
So
stuff down here.
Facebook groups are a really big help. Because you get more engagement, more people kind of look other places. And to be honest, that's actually a great question, because I have had massive problems just trying to find anything like relatively close. Like, I'm not like you guys. I won't travel the 4, 5, 6 hours. I just can't do it. But how about you? Joe?
Yeah, so like Ryan said, on the State Cook-Off Association website, you could click calendar, and it will show you the whole year,
Right.
each location. And the same thing on the CBBQA, it will show local events. And if you're in California, you can search Tracy Allen on Facebook. She is actually the KCBS master judge in this area, and she will send you a calendar via email of every event that's coming up.
Can you spell that and type that into the chat?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Corey in the kitchen? Let's eat. Hey, how's it going? Earlier on Instagram, somebody was live, and we were talking about the trip to Texas, and they were saying they were gonna have one big fire and have all the things around it. And I was saying, oh my gosh, then it means I could dance all over the coals in a loincloth. and he caught that one. So I thought that was pretty funny. But okay, so let's why don't we do this? You guys are gonna be like, what the heck? So I have a special guest. She is actually a really great friend of mine, a company owner and whatnot, and a very slightly amateur-ish barbecue aficionado. Loves to eat it, loves to cook it, but oftentimes, messages me or whatever, looking for advice. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to bring someone that would actually challenge us and ask us questions that would be like, just crazy. Did you type it in there?
Yeah.
Cherry? Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. You didn't type it in the private chat, did you?
No.
Okay, good. It just takes a little bit to come up. All right, cool. So without further ado on this one, I always like saying that.
Martha Stewart.
It's Martha Stewart. I always like saying that when I'm introducing somebody, and I feel like it's so repetitive, and I almost don't like it. Like, I'm like, so without further ado, like, I'm next. You know what? I'm gonna start like a Giants announcer. Next, coming up to the plate, or whatever. Swing and a miss. Hold on, ready, and here we go.
You're a goofball, I swear.
Yes. So please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. I mean, you have your name there, Whiskey and Hardtack, but probably not a lot of people know what that is around the barbecue world at this moment. So go ahead.
Sure. My name's Holly. I'm part owner of Whiskey and Hardtack. And we make beard care primarily for gentlemen and also some body care products. And we've been doing it for a couple years now. and that's actually how I met Steve. And Steve's responsible for one of our seasonal scents, as well as behind the scenes work we've done on some other scents. But Steve and I have really hit it off, and he always is my go-to for barbecue advice. Even though I tend to batch cook when I barbecue, it's like grill all the meats. We need to grill all the meats now.
Yeah, for like 2 weeks.
I'm like, we're gonna need to grill for everything. Like, what else is there? Can I grill some cheese? Like, what can we grill?
Right.
So Steve has always been my support, and I just thought I'd pop in and say hi because I had some time this evening.
Heck
and
yeah.
I like to see all the beards.
Yeah, right. And you got some questions, but first, before we get to yours, Eat With Me XYZ, she actually has a really good question for you two. Since I'm not massively into the competition world, there you go. Is there certain etiquette to know going into your first competition?
Like, are the pinkies raised?
Right. So like in other words, like, do you keep to yourself? Do you not want to talk to anybody? Should you how much should you be prepared? That kind of thing. I'm assuming. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it off to either one of you two.
Yeah, I would definitely have a checklist of everything, your whole schedule. Check that off the list as you go through your day. Your first couple, you might be overwhelmed and you won't be talking to much people. But once you get the flow of things, you'll meet people and everything will just slow down a little bit, and it'll be like riding a bike. Everyone's out there just having a good time and grilling.
And so many. I'm sure both of you can completely vouch this. Somebody say, "Oh, go in it, and you're gonna have fun, and you're gonna meet people." But you hit it right on the nail, Joe. I'm gonna say, for your first competition, I would never even suggest talking to really anybody. Just kind of concentrate on your timing, how how you're cooking everything from the beginning to the end, and whatever, and just your preparation. Because you said it perfectly. Like, you're going to be like so stressed out, like, oh my god, what it's gonna, and the time is gonna fly by like that, like crazy.
And you don't want anyone else throwing off your schedule, saying, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that." No, just do what you do and adjust.
And then the next couple of them that you enter, then you kind of get in a little bit of a little groove, and you can go, "Hey, yo, what's up, Joe? What's up, Ryan? How's it going, guys?" That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, but Ryan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yep.
If you do, I'm going to
absolutely.
feature you. Ready? Here we go.
I'm ready. Yeah, absolutely. Like Joe said, make sure you've got your list ready to go, because I've done it for 2 years and I still forget things at the house. So make sure you're prepared beforehand, and then don't go in thinking that you've got it. You may make the best burger on the block, but I guarantee you go in there with that attitude, you're going to hit rock bottom. Ask me how I know, and because that's how we started. We started in 2019, and my wife was like, "You got the best food ever," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna rock this barbecue competition." And I walked in, and we placed dead last in everything. And I was like, "What happened?" I was like, "I don't even know what happened." So you got to go in there, and it's a different animal. When you cook for somebody, you give everything you've got. You want them to taste it and appreciate it and this and that. A judge doesn't care if you spent 5 minutes or 5 hours on a rib. They want that one bite wonder and go, okay, this is a rib that, blows all the other ribs out of the way, or this is the one chicken that you can bite through. You're not cooking to have your show, or you're not cooking for your family. You're cooking for your food to be on show. And it's instead of a pony and a dog, it's your food that's being up there.
Yeah. So just leading into that, what do you think, like someone who's starting out doing competitions, like what should they really focus on in terms of like the dish? Like, do you get to pick like what you're really doing, or is there like a set number of things you have to do? Like, how is that?
So it really depends on which competition you're doing.
Yeah.
Let's just say something simple, because these two are very good at it and they practice this all the time.
Yeah.
The state competitions, so SEA state competitions. So they don't have to get the meat because it's always provided to them unless
See,
they're
that
doing
was
it
a question I always had. Do you guys have
for
to
the
bring
state.
your own meat?
You
For
will
the-
you
for
will
the
know
state, yes.
with any competition be
Yes.
way ahead of time if it's bring your own.
Okay.
But the state cook-off is always provide it.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And
It's
unless
always
you're
ribeye.
I would advise. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. No,
I
please.
was just gonna say I would advise find what you find a competition that's gonna like what you enjoy. So like if you're really good at tri-tip, don't go enter a rib competition. Find
Right.
because you're gonna want that boost of, hey, okay, I can cook this. Most of the times, if you do like a backyard, they call it backyard, but they'll do like the 3 meats. You can choose for your entry if you want to do 1 meat or all 3 meats or all 4 meats or whatever. So some of these guys, they just come out and do tri-tip and they'll rock the tri-tip because they're good at tri-tip.
And
So
gives
that's
them
what I would suggest
confidence
starting out. I would choose 1 meat instead of going, hey, like we did. We're like, I got a KCBS style. I'm going to do 4 meats. And then you're sitting there 3 hours into it going, we should not have done this.
Right. Well, I wanted to circle back to you were saying the preparation part. Like you forget things. You were forgetting to bring certain things. I do want to give a shout out to one of my barbecue idols, Malcolm Reed. And I want to say, if you go on his How to Barbecue Right website, I don't know if it's still there, but this was a couple years ago. I mean, maybe 3 years ago or so, at the least. But he has a checklist of competition. What is it? The things that you should bring. And I literally used that, and the back of my F-150 was extensively full for no darn reason. But I tell you what, I literally used every single thing that I brought. Down to like.
So should you over prepare? Should you over
yes,
prepare?
in a lot of ways, like
For your first ones, yes.
Yeah.
like because you got to think about this. So anyone, let me say, anyone that's interested in say competition, right? It's so different when you're at home. It does a little thing, such as right here when I'm barbecuing. I know if I make a mess or if something splashes up or whatever, I can go right here and grab this paper towel. Right here, it's always right here.
Yep.
If somehow, oh crap, I got to go get my knife. It's right there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's all these little or oh darn it, I got a bunch of freaking charcoal all over my hand or whatever. I can go to the bathroom and wash my hand. So you don't really think of all of those things about like I down to, I mean, I had a couple jugs of just water and an empty bucket to wash my hands in.
Yep.
Down to a fire extinguisher, a couple rolls of paper towels, one shop towel just in case if you get more grease, and then maybe like regular paper towels. You got to bring all the knives that you think you don't need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All of those things. But well, see, and that goes with the, let's just say more like experienced competition where you got to prep your ribs, you got to do all that, and you have to do it on site.
Yeah.
So what's the longest like prep time you guys have had for a competition? Like
Sometimes it's all day, right? I mean,
Really?
it depends on what you're cooking.
Like a steak,
Yeah.
You'll get your steak at like 10, and you might not turn in until 2:30.
Yeah, and
So you got-
and hey, from experience, I mean, I've seen Joe Cherry Anchor. I've seen him and his wife getting ready. Man, and she was like down by the table and getting this and this and this and
Yep.
I mean the goal to enter a competition is to win. I mean,
Mhm.
yes, we all want to have fun, we all want to do that, but it's to win. So you really want to I think what these two guys are saying, alleviate any stress that you could possibly take away from yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're like, I know I got all these knives or whatever, like let's just say that's what I was saying, right? So if you know you have it, you're not at all stressed of anything.
So actually, the last one I did where I cooked with Ryan next door in Fillmore, I forgot 2 critical items, and luckily I made some calls to some guys that were going that live nowhere near me, and they end up bringing it. I got lucky.
Yep.
You know.
Hey, what up, Blazing Star? How's it going? Speaking
of
it,
I would say that.
So
Holly, I'm sorry.
Holly, whiskey and hardtack. You actually, now that Blazing Star barbecue came in, you have this funny little story, not story, but just about where you keep finding Blazing Star barbecue rubs.
I kept, like, the first time it happened, I'm like, what? I keep finding them in the living room, like down next to the couch. And I was like, why is this here? Like, this should be with all my stuff. Like, why is this here? And the first time I'm like, okay, some sort of fluke. And then, like, it's happened a couple times. And then I finally figured out, because I caught him in the act, my 9-year-old has been going up into the cabinets and, like, taking it down, like, silently, and then putting it on, like, everything he's eating when he goes to watch TV. Popcorn, chicken nuggets, like, whatever he's got, like, he's sprinkling it liberally on everything. Nice. I'm like,
didn't he put it didn't he put it on grits the other day?
Yes, he did. He put it on cheddar grits.
Nice.
And I was like, I mean, okay.
Right.
But can we please put it back when we're done?
That's awesome. That's a good kid right there.
I'm like, okay, like he's the one that if I buy pork rinds, like the really spicy ones, I have to hide them because he'll eat the whole bag in one sitting. He's like, I like the spice. I'm like, all right, buddy. So yeah, Steve does that too. Yeah, we have to hide, everything from Steve.
Yeah, I do that too. Oh, goodness gracious.
But yeah, it was funny because like I said, I was just walking through and I'm like, why is that in the living room? Like, why is it down in it's just, is it his secret stash? Now I'm starting to be concerned. Like, I have to get him his own, like, subscription.
So let's kind of I want to dive deep into what you were saying, Holly, where you like to do the batch cooking for, like, grilling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's funny though, because a lot of us content creators with barbecue, we kind of have to do that in a lot of times to get our videos out, because I mean, not all of us can smoke a brisket every single day or whatever it may be. We all work, we all do things. So that's actually a really good topic. Like, if you have any questions about, like, how would you go about it? I mean, how do you want to set your coals, or what should you be cooking on? That kind of thing.
Well, so the fellas know that I cook primarily on a Weber kettle. And I had been using it. Steve made fun of me. I had been using the hardwood, like, lump charcoal to do all my grilling on the kettle. And he was like, you really should switch to something that is a little bit more even burning for you. And like, there's some really good briquettes out there you should really try. And it definitely changed my game, because I was like, oh, okay, things are more even now, if that makes any sense, even with a chimney starter. But when it's grilling, like high grilling season, because it's really freaking cold here right now, we tend to
she's
grill.
In PA, by the way.
Yeah. I'm outside of Philly. So we don't say anything, because I see the Dallas Cowboys and I just don't want that to come in to ruin a beautiful thing that we have going on here. So I'm going to let it go. So don't think I didn't notice. So we tend to batch cook because, 2 kids, the school, Yeah, that's on my list. 2 kids, the school, running a business, which it takes a lot of your time, as you guys know. Yeah. So like for us, like batch cooking is you can't. Oh, we lost him.
Sorry, Holly. Sorry, Holly.
I'm sorry.
Now he's right next to me. See, now we're gonna start trouble.
Sorry.
So.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Look, I did not sign up for
Superman.
I'm not doing this. I'm not participating.
I'm a cop-headed nitty muggins.
So anyway, so we have to batch cook a lot of our food because then like we can heat and eat as we go through the week because we're just so busy, can't grill every single day, as you know. And some days are longer than others. So I like to do simple stuff like we'll do sliders because that goes pretty far, especially with the kids, because they'll eat on that for like a day and a half, kind of stuff. We'll do like I tend to do like chicken and a beef and sometimes a pork, like usually like a tenderloin or something like that you can like carve up and serve different ways, and the last day that it's left you can turn it into fried rice or something like that, like some super quick. Trying to really stretch it, like, but I don't know. I think I always make the mistake is I start with the wrong thing. And then I'm like, am I running out of coals or did I like
right.
And that's part of my problem is I don't have the best strategy. It's really just sort of like, oh heck, let's go cook without like thinking it through. And I think I keep screwing up like how much I should use in what order.
So right, exactly. I think I kind of know where you're coming from. So let's just say Joe, Ryan. So I mean, would you say like the bigger cuts of meat first? Or
I would say the bigger cuts, and if you have room, put in the smaller stuff in front of it.
Okay.
If you can fit it, and then
so she knows how to do like an offset.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I had taught her how to do those. I mean, she's actually done that before, but just to have it over there. Hers is a lot like her where she's at. It's a lot like where I'm at, where it gets excessively windy at times. Especially during like peak like grill season, but
there are some days it's not going to happen.
So anyway, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I would definitely start with the bigger cuts.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you're doing like, for example, you're doing a chuck roast. That's going to take some time.
Yeah.
But if you got some chicken breast you're cooking too, if you have room to fit them on the side, because those will cook quick, you can get that off and then just keep the bigger meats going and trying to fill in the little ones.
Okay. So like I could even put like that as the chicken comes up, I could start the sliders around while I'm still focusing on that hunk.
And you're on a Weber kettle, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If there's any way, if you could set up like even a piece of cardboard to kind of block off some of the intake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just if you're getting crazy wind,
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like, I'm like, it's the Scottish moors out here. What the heck?
Yeah, just enough to block it so at least you're maintaining a temp.
Yeah, because that's the hardest thing. Because when it gets going, I'm like, I don't know if we can do this today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not the same doing it inside.
No, I
know. You want that flavor, and you're just not going to get it with your cast iron pan inside.
Yeah, exactly.
So like let's say this, Holly. So four meats that you would cook for your family, like in a batch, like what are four of those that you would do?
Pretty standard chicken breast. I got kids. They're gonna, chicken breast, usually boneless.
Yeah.
They're easier to like repurpose. Almost always a pork loin is thrown in there. And burgers, and then sometimes we'll throw on a steak, and it's usually one of the leaner cuts. It's not a strip, technically. It's usually like a sirloin or something.
A sirloin.
Yeah, just done real quick because they're easy to get.
Well,
Like
then,
not
yeah,
everything
I mean,
is
almost in a sense, like you could almost throw them all on at the same time, just in different areas of the grill.
and I think that's what I got to get the strategy down a
You
little
know,
bit
so
more.
you got your grill. I mean, it's going to be at like maybe 275, 300 degrees, let's just say,
Yeah.
at a good temperature. So if you're going to do a sirloin, right, you're going to want it hot and fast. Just
Right.
boom, boom, boom. So you already got your fire hot where it's hot. So stick those over the fire, right?
Okay.
Then put your heavier meat right in the middle, and then put the more maybe like a pork loin or something, and then do your chicken breasts. But are you pounding them like I told you, or are you cutting them in
Not
half like I was
always.
saying?
Not always. Some days it's just like, oh, I forgot to do that. Oh well, we're doing it live, you know.
So are you talking about like a pork, like a tenderloin, like a fillet, like the little
Sometimes
small ones that you get that are like?
sometimes it's a tenderloin, and those I like to tie off just out of habit.
Okay.
But sometimes it's an actual like the loin. You know what I mean? Every so often when I feel fancy, I'll cut it and stuff it and roll it. But you know, it's got to be a special occasion for me to do that.
Because I mean, right. But so the biggest thing for you, I think the biggest thing, Holly, with the batch cooking, and if you're going to do like say what Joe's saying and what I'm saying about putting in the who is that? Who is that?
It's not mine. Swear to God.
Oh, if you hear a kid, it's my kid. Sorry.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that no one's like in any trouble.
We haven't let him out of the dungeon for 5 days, so he's kind of
Right.
Yeah.
You definitely, Holly, need an instant read thermometer.
I got one.
When?
I got the one that you had been using for forever, the pen.
Okay.
I did get one. I didn't tell you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right because I know you never had one, and that.
No, I didn't. I was just going by feel.
But I mean, that's the best thing though. In any kind of advice I would give, that's one thing you really should be getting. You know, I mean, there's a reason why even comp guys that are really experienced say, man, chicken scares the heck out of me. You know, it's not just about the crispy skin or the way it's cooked. It's also the fact that is it cooked, you know?
Yeah. The chicken's one of those things where you're like,
yeah. And the thing is that so like for me, I use my instant read, like the pen, as a guide for me. Like, okay, I know I've got a little bit more, or I know I can let me lower this temp a little bit because that thing is going too fast from what, you know.
Yeah.
It's going up too high, you know, given the wind or something like that. But really, I think the thing is to do more often, to barbecue and grill more often.
Yeah.
Because you get a consistency. You start realizing, you know, us three, we could say tri-tip. That's probably one of our specialties. All three of us, probably. And really, the more, I mean, I guarantee you, I can go there, boom, boom, and I know I'm like, it's at 110. I'm like, okay, I know I can do this, and this. I need to turn it down a little bit.
So what you're saying is you know your meat really well.
Yeah, but I know, yes. But the thing is to know your cooks very well, know your cooker very well.
Yeah.
And when you do it more often, you start, it's almost like a more of a rhythm, and it's not the fact that you're just some pit master experienced. You just know what you're doing, like when you're doing it, you know. It's like practice, you know. So I don't know.
What is it they say? Practice makes permanent. There you go.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that one.
Because it's not perfect, it's just permanent.
I would I echo what these guys say, Ollie. And of course, like Steve, echo, like Steve says too. You know, it depends on your meat and what you want to do with it. Some meats you want to cook it hot and fast. Others you're gonna low and slow it, and it just depends. Those are gonna cook at different times and render down differently. and and then never trust one thermometer. Even though if you have a pen thermometer, I always run a secondary because you can hit, with the pen you can hit a fat pocket, and I had that with a steak one time. I hit a fat pocket, and I'm like, dang, 30 minutes or 5 minutes, and it's already 135, and I'm gonna pull it.
Ooh,
I pulled it.
okay.
It was rare as could be, but that's because I hit a
Okay.
fat pocket. That's gonna cook your throw off your temperature.
Absolutely.
So you always run a second one, and then and then the carryover. If you want juicy chicken, there's 165 is what they tell you to eat it at. I don't pull my chicken at 165 because then you're going to be eating 170 chicken. You always pull it, 162-ish, maybe, depending on how hot you're
Even
cooking it, because that
160 is
carryover.
decent.
Yep. You got to remember your carryover.
I mean, 160 is really good. And plus, let's just say even better, because if you're batch cooking,
You don't
you're
want
going
it
to
too
warm
dry.
them up again. Well, you're going to warm them up again. So even if it's a little under, okay, maybe you're not going to eat the chicken today because you're like, okay, it's still at like 160 and I don't feel safe with that or something. I mean, whatever. And honestly, I'm going to lose a lot of barbecue street cred here, but there's always a microwave. There's always an oven. You can always put it in there again. You can, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I know. But I mean, it's the reality of it's the reality of the way I roll. Things are going to go where they have to go in order to be cooked. But it's funny, as for a split second, I think the thing fritzed out. But I was going to ask, like, when stuff comes off the grill, and you guys have to tell me if this is a bad habit. I tent it almost immediately because it goes off. So you don't want me to do that, or
no, that's good.
Okay.
I mean,
it depends on what you pull it off at. I mean, if you're pulling chicken at 165 and you tint it, you're gonna carry that over to 170 and dry it out easily. If you pull it off at 160 and you still got stuff on the grill, I'll tint my chicken while I'm pulling other stuff, or if I'm cooking other steaks, I'll tint those off. I'll pull them off 5 degrees before they're going to be done, because that carryover is going to be a big deal. It's going to make or break your chicken, your steak, whatever you're doing, because you can go from medium to overdone and shoe leather in 3 seconds. It's easy to do. Ask me how I know.
Because that is a habit. Like, pretty much everything gets tented for multiple reasons. One is
it definitely depends on the meat. I'm going to be honest, and I've seen experiments where side by side, tented or foiled. Let's just say tented, foiled, whatever, or just resting outside. To the contrary of a lot of beliefs, the foil actually hindered the carryover time.
Really?
Yeah. Whether it just be because it was sort of steaming it and kind of like keeping it at a certain temperature or whatever, I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but I have seen that. And I mean, the tenting, I used to do that. I literally never do it anymore with anything, really, unless I'm just trying to protect it. Maybe like a whole turkey.
Well, see, in my case, because as different things are coming off, the different people in the house wanted to eat different things for dinner that night. So, or that afternoon or whatever it is. So I'll tent things in order to try to keep a consistent temperature.
Maybe pull it off, let it rest 5 minutes, and then tent it.
Okay.
Maybe slow it down.
Or if they're gonna be doing that, I sometimes what I'll do is, if I got a lot of meat that I'm pulling off at different times, I'll throw it in my oven at 170.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
If it gets too hot, I'll crack it, just so you're not cooking it, but you're keeping it where it's above that level, and you're not going to get anybody sick in your household.
Yep. And that's
there are danger levels.
I was going to say, the biggest thing I think, if you're taking things off at different times, hey, you put it in there at 170 in your oven, even like 175 if you really, whatever. But yeah, definitely that, because then it's nice and airtight. You're not getting any bacteria on it from anywhere else, and it's like you said, it's food safe. So
And on that with chicken, chicken breast or white meat, you could pull a little earlier, like 160, 162. But on dark meat, you could carry a lot higher
Yeah,
and
you can
still be
carry it up to
juicy.
darn
Yeah,
near
yeah.
200 degrees if you need to.
200. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, now I'm hungry.
So maybe more like beginner questions, like anything you kind of have, like whether it be prep or like the pork loins, like do you take off the silver skin, Holly?
I don't think I do. Sometimes I've got. Well, it depends. There's a butcher that'll do it for me.
Right.
Which is very nice. But otherwise, I just kind of roll with it. I don't take it off. Like if I can get somebody to do it for me and it's a speed saving kind of thing, I'll do that. But I think I've maybe removed like 2 or 3 tops in the last 5 years. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like,
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the little things go a really, really long way. Like even let's just say tri-tips, trimming off like excess fat that you have. It'll help.
You know what's
with,
funny? It's like I've told you this before.
You
We
still
can't get
haven't.
tri-tips here. We can't.
Yes, you can. I promise you.
I mean,
You're gonna
I've
start.
never seen them.
You
ever.
will. All you have to do, if you have a butcher,
Yeah.
just tell him you want it, and
I guess I
they'll get
could
it
just
for you.
like, dude, tri-tip me.
Either that, or if you really, really have to, or if you really want something that's similar to it, just the picanha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's similar. I would suggest leaving the fat cap on, but on a picanha. But yeah, those are actually pretty good. I got two prime.
Well, that
tri-tips
silver
here.
skin is like a shield. It
Yes.
doesn't let seasoning get in. So the more you remove, the better I think it will taste.
Well, that and it's the texture a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
kind
does.
of messes with it.
Gristly.
I just sort of carve around it when it's done.
Yeah.
Like I know it sounds like I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And silver. Speaking of silver skin, ribs, pork loin, all that,
The
you leave that
membrane.
on a competition. Since we're talking hitting that too, that's an automatic. You're almost guaranteed to get knocked down to zeros
Yeah.
for that because that
Yeah.
you like I said, it's that one bite, and if that
Yeah.
judge gets that one bite of silver skin
Yeah.
that cooked, it's
Yeah.
gonna be bad.
Or even
It's just not a good-
then, like even if you don't get the bite, because most of the time you don't, you get that like it's like a sheet of like hard paper like on the
Yeah.
bottom. You're like
Yeah.
ah, you're like what the heck? Okay. So experienced to inexperienced, we'll answer questions real quick. I'm gonna ask a question. So baby backs or St. Louis style? I'm going with baby backs. How about
St.
you,
Louis.
Joe?
I'd go St. Louis.
Both of you St.
Yeah.
Louis?
Yeah.
How about
Maybe.
you, Holly?
you did this on purpose.
No.
Yeah, my dad loved the baby backs.
Okay.
I personally don't like ribs.
Yeah.
And okay. So yeah. But anyways. Okay. Sorry.
Controversy.
So my reasoning, okay, I'm gonna let you know, and a lot of it has to do with my beard. So baby backs, the meat is on top of the bone, not necessarily side.
Mhm.
So for me, it's a lot easier to eat with like this. You know what I mean? Like
No,
I'm
my
not trying to
my dad had the full beard thing going on. So yeah,
So for me, the baby backs are so much better to eat and cleaner, and I do find them more meatier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like them
I
too,
agree
but
with you that.
yeah, I think me and Ryan might be biased because we compete with them so much
Right.
that we're forced to just buy them in practice. But
Yeah, and I could say both. There's like it's weird because they don't really taste any different.
Yeah.
You know what? Another. Hey, Rose Barbecue, how's it going? Another positive for me for the baby backs. It's a lot less prepping
Yeah.
to square them off,
Yeah.
to get them nice
Yeah.
and even, and stuff like that. A lot less. So what would be another positive for you for St. Louis stuff?
You're right.
Yeah, either one.
I feel like
We're all
school. Like
here.
I have a question,
Yeah.
Mr. Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying about the baby backs. They are a meatier, but you can also get thick St. Louis or spares, and you could play with it. You could inject them. You could, you get 14 of them on a rack. You could play with. You get that with baby backs too, but I feel like they cook a little more evenly, also, especially if you're squaring them up.
I could
From
say
my
that. I could
experience.
say
I
that
can see
definitely because there's not that
Yeah,
that arch to them.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can see that. Okay, so all right, Holly. So what's like your most asked question?
Me?
Like barbecue question? Yeah, like whenever you're grilling or smoking or doing something, like what's your most like, oh my god, like it not maybe question but frustrating thing that maybe we could like
Really, it's really controlling the temps, because again, the external factors, and I would love to, and I guess this might be just I've not tried it, but I would love to figure out how to do that better when it's cold. Like it's like 38 right now.
ugh.
And there's a little bit of a wind. But what would be the best strategies to like really like how do you keep the fire going, relatively speaking, like how do I keep that temperature consistent?
Where do you store your charcoal?
In the garage.
Oh, okay, good.
Right.
No, I'm not.
outside.
It's in the garage.
Okay.
So I'll take this one first. Weber. So Weber Kettle, you're doing that. So
Yeah.
for starters, I wouldn't light all of the charcoal that you're using. I would probably put like I call it like a dry bed of charcoal, like on the side that you're going to have the charcoal on, and then do like maybe another like a half chimney full of charcoal, light those, right? And then put those on top.
So
And
you want me
now-
to put them on top of a bed of
Yes,
just
like
okay.
dry coals, like that are not lit.
Okay.
That'll actually really help elongate your cook times because it'll kind of others will light. Eventually,
Yeah,
and
no,
it'll
it's a
kinda
chain
go down.
reaction, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do that. Also, one thing that I've been doing for like the past year, actually, that I never did, and I actually haven't even told you this, Holly, because I used to tell you about like the bottom, the holes,
Yeah,
right, where the
Yeah.
where
the airflow.
the intake is. I actually do that completely open. All my intake on the
What?
bottom is always fully open.
See, I'm afraid to do that. Like I feel like
I used to be as well, but now I'm really, really regulating all of my temperatures with the top vent.
okay, because I really am stingy with that bottom vent.
Yeah.
I'm really like
And I think that's a lot of the problem in the cold for you is that
Okay.
you're really not allowing any air to keep flowing in that's like warm enough. Like it needs to stay warm. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So it's choking itself out, and because it's
Yep.
cooler outside, and those things aren't like the thickest things in the
no,
world.
then they aren't. Yeah.
So it the cooler air is cooling the charcoal more than it is heating it up. But I really, and every single cook that I have, I like my turkey, the turkey breast I did, the bone-in
Yeah.
turkey breast, fully open. But I'm just regulating on the top.
Okay.
And then it's a lot easier because I used to do this. I'm sure you two, cooking with kettles.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
bottom and then the
Yeah.
top. Now I'm like, okay, if
I'm
I'm
like-
cooking wings, I know exactly how far I want that top to go open. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about anything else.
And you could run both vents wide open, and when you get 25 to 50 degrees to where you want,
Uh-huh.
start backing it
Then back
down,
it up.
and it'll catch.
Oh.
Yes. That's the hey, what up, Tone?
Some people putting, see, they're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
I
So,
like the
so even
subliminal
with
stuff.
me, like, I guess I'll be the odd man out not using a Weber, but even with the,
Well, but you use a drum though too.
yeah,
So that really relies on that intake.
we do. I just run nothing but the pit barrel drums. So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it just depends on your elevation. You have that when you have it, you crack it depending on your elevation. And then like Steve said, when I set it up for smoking, I have the basket of dry coals, and then I light a fourth of what I'm going to do for that. I dump them right in the middle, and as the juices and everything drop down, and then it's just going to spread out from there. And so what you do is if you light your whole charcoal basket on fire, you're going to have 400 degrees for the first 15 minutes, and then you're going to have 150 degrees, and you're going to be like, well, it was cooking really fast, and then it just died.
Well,
You're
gonna have
I might have done that once or twice.
You're gonna have a heck of a time bringing that temperature down.
Yeah.
And that's like valuable time because you're gonna waste so much time trying to get that down, and then the coals are just that's cook time that you could have had.
It's the temperature management for me, which is the biggest struggle, and not really dialing that in, I think.
And I think we settled a little bit of that with using more briquettes rather than the lump charcoal.
Yeah, because I was always getting an uneven burn. I really was. Just all over the place. And the popping.
Yes. Well, and granted, the lump charcoal you were using was pretty was the cheaper of the kinds.
Yeah, not a good quality.
Well, because and I mean,
I honestly don't know. It was a giant package I got from Costco one day.
Right.
Laugh all you want, like that's what I had.
No, I used it,
and that's the thing is that we're not laughing. We know.
We've been there.
There's a red bag that I've used, and god dang, I mean, it was like a sappy water, like a log. Dude, like when it's kind of wet, it was just
because this Costco size bag was so huge. I am certain I still have part of it in the garage.
Yeah.
There was so much in it.
Yeah.
And they're so uneven. And for me, the biggest thing isn't, I could probably cook with any kind of charcoal. I'm not in a lump or whatever. There's some really good lump charcoal out there.
I believe it.
Jerk charcoal is one of them. I'm going to say Jealous Devil, definitely. But for me, cooking. And BB, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. So, but anyways, the for me, since I'm a predominantly 99% of my cooks are on a Weber kettle with grates and not a like a tray.
Yeah.
The lump charcoal tends to fall through the grate. Half of it is already wasted because it goes through the bottom, and that kind of stuff. So for me, I really prefer, I get the most out of my charcoal with briquettes in a Weber kettle. But see, now if you're going with a drum like Ryan, higher grilling, if you're gonna go with a drum, I would definitely say like lump, because you got that tray, there's no grate, and man, and you got a really, really deep
basket
travel.
And distance. Yeah, exactly.
Like
travel
your
for
basket,
the heat.
it's very deep.
So you kind of want them a little hotter than whatever. I mean, I even used to kind of mix up like in my Oklahoma Joe's, the Bronco drum.
Oh yeah,
I would mix up started out with the lump, and then I put some briquettes on top.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just the way I am.
And it just depends too. Like for competition, I'll usually run the B&B briquettes, just because they light faster. That's, it's not going to be an uneven. Hey, now.
I'm totally messing with you. I'm totally messing with you.
Total power move, Steve.
I know, man.
I won't do
But
that
for
again.
for home cooking, I love the flavor of lump, because you can get it in different flavors, and mesquite and hickory and all that. You can get it in different flavors, but the big thing is, I'm a big B&B guy, but it's the quality brands that are out there. You've got Jealous Devil that runs a good quality. You've got Fogo. I've never used it. A lot of people use it. I think it stinks too much. I'm just not a big Fogo fan, but that's a higher end quality. And then you got B&B. When you start getting into the other brands, that aren't named there, those that shall remain nameless there, then you have the issues. If it sparks a lot, that's a bad tree. You don't want that. Your lump should not spark. Like if it looks like the 4th of July when you're starting to cook your steaks, it's a bad bag of charcoal. It's just bad.
Yeah.
It should not look that way.
Is it supposed to do this?
No.
Mm-mm.
No, it's just that. Yeah, it's the quality. It's just the quality.
Yeah.
So I mean, that hour went by so fast.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So I like to keep these to an hour, and all three of you actually, that I carry the after party to the Instagram, and try to just have a little bit less formal kind of thing. Here Mike says this too. Blazing Star, I use lump to get my offset started. Yeah, there you go. And then wood, yeah, I mean, perfect. See, for me, and that, what, I gotta say this too. I really have to add this. I actually almost rarely smoke anymore. I really just like a true flavor.
I was shocked when you told me that the other day. I'm like, what?
Like I used to smoke my wings all the time, and they were great and everything else. But I tell you, like I literally have no smoke to my wings ever. And I probably use one like half of like wood chunk on like a tri-tip.
Yeah.
I think and hey, I might be wrong, but I think even the three of you can maybe agree. It might even be the Blazing Star barbecue rubs that I use. That but that's serious. That I'm like, wow, I really just want to experience that flavor. That I don't feel like, for me, it's crazy. I don't feel like I need to add smoke for flavor anymore.
No. Don't need to.
Yeah, I'm like, and I think that's also why I'm really, really into the pecan wood.
Yeah,
a lot more than I used to be with.
Yeah, it's more subtle.
Yeah, definitely.
So. Yeah.
I'm sorry to add that in there. I just had to say, anybody that's I gotta find wood, I gotta do this, I gotta it's like, man, just if I could give any advice, period, just do it. Just cook. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just not doing it right yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're all learning. I mean, we kind of talked about this right before we started. We're all learning. Like, we all still learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
every day,
single day.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh no, I was just gonna say too. I mean, real quick, it's funny that you cut out the smoke, because my first competitions, that's what we did. We did the offset. We threw the smoke bricks on, or the chunks on there, and I would always get dinged for it. And so, just because you're cooking with wood, or just because you're cooking with a couple of chunks, doesn't necessarily make it a good taste of meat. You can over smoke it.
Oh yeah.
You can get dirty smoke. You can get that wood adds a whole nother level of barbecuing. So if you want just a true barbecue experience, just straight coals and just and seasoning, and you're good to go.
And even on a long cook, the first half hour to an hour is basically where you're getting your smoke anyway. So you don't need a whole bunch of wood.
No.
Yep.
You know.
So let's elaborate on that real quick, Holly, because I kind of see you going, well, like what?
I'm
what
like,
do you mean?
we're getting
So-
it, like this could be dangerous.
So obviously, we've established you don't ever want too much smoke on your
Right.
food, period. Okay. So with that said,
I mean, you want to taste the food, obviously.
yes,
Yeah.
but with
Yeah.
that said, think of meat like a sponge in water. Okay. So the
Yep.
water is the smoke and the sponge is the meat. You can put a sponge underneath the water and squeeze it. It can only take in so much water, right?
Right.
So in other words, meat can only take in so much smoke before it starts building on top of the meat. So you it locks up. So meat, it's almost like moisture. Smoke is almost like moisture for meat. Like it can only take so much in, and then when it's too much, it starts building on top of it, and that's when you get all that bitter, that like it's just really
Yeah.
heavy and almost like metal.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
metallic.
Yeah,
Kind
metallic.
of. Yeah.
And so that's what Joe Cherryacre, that's what he's saying is that there's only so much time. Like when somebody's cooking their ribs and they're having like smoke for like the whole time, and there's just this like
puffy white,
and I'm like, I know those probably do not taste that great.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, you don't.
It looks cool though.
And that's what he means. Is you don't really need to even worry about, like, you know, anyway. So yeah, with that said, dang, that was good. We definitely have to do this again.
Oh yeah,
We have
part
to do,
two.
like this yeah, we have to do this advice thing again. Hey, maybe in the next couple of weeks or something like that. Just as an FYI to people that are following, listening, or that will listen to this, and to you three as well. With the holidays coming around, I'm not sure, you know, if there's going to be like major Talkin Tuesdays or like little ones, like I can't even say little ones because these were actually really good. But anyways, but yeah. So with the holidays, you know, I can't make any promises. Let's hope we get, you know, we get a Talkin Tuesdays, and hopefully I can get some of you guys back in here. But man, that was actually really good. Sorry if I'm kind of rambling on. I'm trying to close this out and read the rest of the comments at this thing. So yeah. That's the best thing I've heard about over smoking. Okay, thanks. Well, I'm glad everybody got to learn anything. And yeah, thank you guys and ladies for joining. And y'all have a good night.